thanks so much to each and every one of you for being here with us. In our time together, Mitchell is going to talk with us about the offer of hope. There's nobody on the planet, in my opinion, better prepared than to bring that offer of hope to all humankind. Mitchell, it is an absolute treat to have you here with us. How are you doing in spite of everything going on?
Things are well. Things are actually pretty good. Now, do I have disruption in my life? Of course. Are my invitations to go speak less? Yes. On the other hand, I just got an invitation the other day to speak a little later in the month. And they also requested a whole slew of copies of my book. So it's been a prosperous month. Life is grand. I'm seeing lots of friends, some at a little bit of a distance, but friends, and we're picking up meals at restaurants and bringing them home. A great thing to do if you're not doing already, to support that restaurant that you like. And while you may not be able to go sit down in it tonight, you can bring the food home and share it with loved ones, families, neighbors, and help support those people who are working in that restaurant.
And Santa Barbara has a whole lot of awesome restaurants. You live in such a great place.
It is a wonderful place. I like it almost as much as Deep Cove in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Another wonderful spot.
We've eaten there together.
I'm, by the way, the only American that has been to every province in Canada, and I can name them. And today I saw a little question on my computer, tell me the smallest province in Canada. And of course it's PIA and PEI. Thank you, I needed help on that. PEI, there was a big sign at the airport when I last left my friend Joe Sharon in PEI. There was a sign at the airport saying, "We've run out of lobsters. Mitchell's been here." And so, but I'm sure they have them back again now, so it's all good. And I can even name the capitals of all the provinces and territories. And Canada's an amazing place for a ton of great reasons. And I tell the story about a visit I had after 9/11. Now, I'm wondering how many of your audience members don't remember 9/11. And of course we do. And of course we know what a horrific experience that was. Whether you were in Canada, the United States, England, wherever you were in the world, it was a horrendous experience. And about 3 or 4 days after 9/11, I had an engagement already booked to speak to a real estate group in Montreal. So that morning before the talk, I went to the airport in Santa Barbara, flew to Los Angeles. LAX was empty, I mean empty. No one there. Flew to Montreal, went to my hotel. Everything was lovely. And the next morning I picked up the Globe and Mail. And on the front page was a full-size picture of Halifax and the harbor and Dartmouth and 3 Canadian Forces ships sailing out of that harbor to go defend the United States of America. Some Americans don't know everything there is to know about Halifax, everything they could know about Edmonton, everything they could know about Whitehorse or Yellowknife, and I'm going to learn somehow how to say it properly, but Caliquick, the capital, of course, of Nunavut. And I'm lucky enough to realize and have met so many wonderful people about how much Canada means to the United States, a huge trading partner, a lot of upsides to it. And on that day, there were the Canadian Forces on their way to defend us.
Mhm.
Pretty magical,
Pretty magical.
pretty amazing. We're having a little bit of a challenge right now. Some of you may have noticed. There's a couple restaurants that are closed. There's a couple of car washes that are closed. There's a couple of all kinds of businesses that are not open as they have been.
Mhm.
And yet, we're all going to be out of this thing,
Mhm.
just as we're out of 9/11.
Mhm.
9/11 was a horrendous experience. It's long history for us.
Mhm.
Everybody viewing, everybody as the part of this meeting today
Mhm.
can know that we get over stuff.
Mhm.
We don't like it at the time. It's not the best thing, but we can spend all our time feeling really miserable
Mhm.
about how bad things are, or spend some of that time asking ourselves, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it.
Right. Right.
That's the philosophy that I love to share
Mhm.
with groups, whether I'm being screeched in St. John's or
Mhm.
whether I'm at the, what's the gorgeous hotel on Prince Edward Island? Oh, it's such a perfect hotel, right across from the Capitol, the Parliament building.
Okay.
And it has the most beautiful gardens outside it, and they have a high tea
Mhm.
that is
Maybe it's
tremendous.
Is it a Fairmont?
Well, it probably is today, but it
Yeah.
was one of the CN hotels and one of
Okay.
the great hotels across Canada, or the Banff Springs Hotel. You
Right.
and I, CoraMarie, have had
Yeah.
lunch in Banff Springs,
Wonderful lunch there. And I was
and
just going to show everybody a copy of your book.
oh boy, absolutely, I love people to look at the
So,
book.
yeah, it's not what happened to you, it's what you do about it. A
Absolutely,
profound book, lots of good insights on Mitchell's life and his
lots of
story. Mitchell, I first met you in Orlando 20 years ago.
You were 12, I think.
I was 12, yeah. And I was absolutely in awe of how much people wanted to be around you. They hung on to your every word, of how much they just couldn't get enough of you. What's your secret?
Well, my secret of they can't get enough of me is I wear really good aftershave lotion, and I buy them beverages, especially if they're as lovely as you. And part of my secret is that I listen to other people,
Yeah.
that I listen to people like CoraMarie. I listen to somebody who has chosen in her life to be a dental hygienist, to be in the field of helping other people, and who has chosen in her life to hand out toothbrushes. CoraMarie, and I'm sure all of you who are viewing this right now, know that not only is she a dental hygienist, she's the tooth fairy. She's a woman who puts toothbrushes in the mouths of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of children around the world who've never seen a toothbrush, who've never been to a dentist, who've never had anybody help them with their dental health. And what an amazing gift. What a phenomenal gift. And what if all of us, what if everybody in this viewing group would put a toothbrush in some child's mouth, a word of encouragement to someone who's disappointed right now, whose life is not working the way it was a few months ago, who's not having the opportunities that they were feeling were automatic.
Right.
Okay, now, Mitchell, you just said something, everything's going to be perfect, everybody's going to run out of their house, everybody's going to be happy forever. I don't know about that. But what I know about is a message on the cover of that book, a message on this card. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. Do you want to think about how bad what's happened to you in the last few months is? Go ahead, enjoy whatever. If you get benefits out of that, good for you. Or are you going to stop and say, Now, what could I do with this moment? And some of you, many of you, have heard something like the words that I'm saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what could you do right now to make your life better? What could you do right now to reach out and help someone, whether it's a child that needs a toothbrush, whether it's a friend down the street who just could use some help carrying out the trash?
Mm-hmm.
What if it was a past client, somebody you've worked with in the past, and who you can say to, for instance, I know that it's been some time since we've seen you in our office.
Mm-hmm.
And while today may not be the day, we want to offer you an opportunity in the next 6 weeks
Mm-hmm.
to come for free cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
or a free examination,
Mm-hmm.
or a free x-ray.
Right.
And we just want to serve you. Please don't bring money. Just come to the office
Mm-hmm.
and let us be of service, because you've been such a good patient for us.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to serve you this time.
That's so nice, Mitchell. It's a very interesting time in the dental industry, in any industry. Dentists are about to have approval to go back to work, and in my consulting work with dental practices and with orthodontic practices, my partner Lori works exclusively with orthodontic practices, and I work with general and other specialties. But it's an anxious time. People are wondering, do we have enough PPE, personal protective equipment on hand? How do we meet all the requirements and ensure that both our team and our patients are totally safe from whatever is going on? And I thought, listening to you, and I'd love to hear about some of the driving influences that have helped to shape you, Mitchell, to become who you are. And one of the first stories that comes to mind is you talk about breaking out of prison. And I thought that would be a really interesting thing for you to share with our listeners.
I love to open most of my talks, wherever I am in the world,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Cape Town, or whether it's, who knows, maybe it's in Regina, maybe it's in Beijing, maybe it's wherever it is in the world I've been invited to speak. I like to open the talk usually by asking the audience, before I say anything else. I don't say hello, I don't say good morning, I don't say it's nice to be here. I ask the audience, have you ever been in prison?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get hands that go up. Clearly they're newfies. We know they're newfies. That's okay. But and I ask that question because I have. The wheelchair that you cannot see on the screen right now, in which I'm sitting because of an airplane accident in which I was paralyzed, has been a prison for me. It's confined me. It's kept me from going where I wanted to go, doing what I wanted to do. It was as effective as any bricks or bars. Mm-hmm. These short fingers, which come from a fire that I experienced a long time ago in a motorcycle accident. These short fingers have been a prison for me. They've kept me from doing what I wanted to do, being able to accomplish what I wished I could accomplish. But today, this unusual appearance is but a thin veneer that doesn't hide the remarkable gift, the phenomenal gift that lives inside each and every one of us. Mm-hmm. I ask the audiences to whom I speak, is there anybody in this room, whether it's 100 people or 1,000 people or 20,000 people, who've never been in prison? Mm-hmm. I know I have. And what CoraMarie and I were talking about the other day when she asked me, would you come and spend some time with all the remarkable friends and learners and help stage a jailbreak? All of us wind up in that prison at one time or another. And I believe that all of us have the power, the ability, the skill to go back and look at the experience and ask ourselves, instead of why me, how about what am I going to do about it? What do I choose to do about it? Do I want to dwell on how bad and how unfortunate and how miserable I am?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want to get on one of those ships sailing out of Halifax to go help some other people, so that all of us can get past this, all of us can get through this, and all of us can continue and grow on this journey and understand the whole world has faced challenges and issues and things. And many, 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 many of us have said, okay, it happens, it happened, what's next?
Right. One of the things that you say, Mitchell, that I just find fascinating is there used to be 10,000 things I could do. Now I can only do 9,000. So I have a choice. I can either dwell on the 1,000 I can't do or spend my time enjoying the 9,000 things I can do. I mean, that is absolutely profound. And then you also say adversity introduces us to ourselves. Would you expand on that for us?
Well, again, life happens, stuff happens. Sometimes it's not fair. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes we wish it didn't happen. I'd love to wish. I'm starting a new program because I did the wish it wouldn't happen stuff for a while, and it's not always easy. But I've started a new program. I wish I knew the winning lottery number. That's my newest thing this week. And I think I'm pretty close now. I'm sure I'm pretty close. I'm positive I'm going to get that number and win millions and millions and millions. I'm going to have so many loonies and toonies that I'm going to be set. And if I don't, I'm going to think about something other than the winning lottery number. How about what's the winning way to encourage someone else who's not seeing the possibilities that I've been given the gift to see? How about if I spend a little more time thinking about ways that I could be of service to other people? There was a wonderful American speaker named Zig Ziglar. Wonderful, amazing man, amazing man. He said this thing, write this down. Any of you who are listening, look down at your piece of paper, look down at whatever it is, and write this down. He said, you can have anything in life that you want, anything, if you just help other people get what they want first. The overwhelming majority of you who are viewing this right now are givers, not takers. The overwhelming majority of you people have a life devoted to making your own life better. Of course, you should. And helping other people make their life better too.
Nice.
Because it's not what happens to you. It's what you do about it. That's my whole message. That's my whole speech. When you invite me to come and speak to your groups, that's what you're going to hear a lot.
Right.
Because that's a profound truth that's been said by people for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
The more you give, the more you get.
Absolutely. One of the things you also say on your cards that you held up earlier is it's okay to look back, but don't stare.
Ooh.
With us what you mean with that one.
And that's on the back of this card.
Yes.
And this card, by the way, will cost you the price of you going on your computer and typing in W Mitchell, one word, wmitchell.com. That's how much it'll cost you. You have to be able to type those letters, wmitchell.com, and on the page that you're going to see, my website, you're going to see free resources. And you'll see tons of videos and lots of things, all a gift, none of it, no charge. And one of the gifts will be this card, which you then can print out and post it for yourself, print the front and the back with these wonderful quotes, most of which I've stolen from people like CoraMarie, and print them out and share them with people. And it's all right to look back. How many times have we said, oh, I wish I didn't do that. Oh, it wouldn't have been good if I had done that. Oh, how come I didn't think of that earlier? Well, you've thought of it now. Use it. Put it to work in your life. The amount of time we spend looking in our rearview mirrors in life. Oh, boy. Oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Oh, how come I left home so late? How come I didn't get gas? That's fine. Those are human reactions. But how about switching it to the fact that the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror, so much bigger. And why don't we just get past that part of regret and on to the part of, oh, what can I do now? What would be good? The most important two words in the English language, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how to say it in French. I apologize to my Quebecois. I'm learning French still, but now mostly I can say merci. But what's next? What's next? If that's the question that comes out of your mouth, as opposed to why me, how come I didn't do that? What's next?
Nice.
And so I've been so fortunate, and I've had some bumps, and I got burned, and I'm in a wheelchair because I got paralyzed flying my airplane. I still fly my airplane, by the way. So my life's good. Yeah. And has it had some moments when it wasn't as good as others? Of course. That's called life. That's called life. And someone once said, the most successful people in life are the people who enjoy the scenery on a detour. Has anybody watching this ever been on a detour? Has anybody who's watching this right now ever been on a detour that they wouldn't give back for anything? Because they learned so much, they gained so much, they experienced so much. And while they were a little grumpy when they got on the detour, because it had potholes and bridges out and things like that, they wouldn't trade that detour for the world. How many detours have you been on? Where would you like to go next? Who's in charge of you? You. Oh, you are? Wow. Well, in that case, let's get going. Because this whole virus thing is going to be over. And does it mean everything's going to be perfect? And no, there's never an issue. No, it's not perfect. But you've got so many people in Canada, so many people there to take care of you, there to help you with a mask, there to help you with protective gear. Does everybody have it all perfect? No. But the reality is, there are people, when they're able, when they have the tools and the protective gear, who would like to help you with your dental health, or your medical health, or your physical fitness health, or your child's education's health. They're waiting.
Right.
Jump in and help them out.
There's a whole lot of goodness in the world. We just sometimes have to look for it.
And sometimes we stumble, and sometimes we stub our toes. And sometimes it's not all wonderful. And sometimes we don't have as much money as we had before all of this started. All of that's part of life.
Mm-hmm.
But the sailors climbed into those ships in Dartmouth,
Mm-hmm.
not because they were tougher, meaner, stronger, better than anybody else. They climbed into those boats because their neighbor down south, who didn't really have ever heard of Dartmouth, let alone Halifax,
Mm-hmm.
and they climbed in those boats because they said, we have a neighbor, and it's time for us to come help them again, as Canada did in the First and Second World Wars, and all the times you've come to our aid.
Mm-hmm. Canadians are pretty awesome, aren't they?
I think they are. Some of them are cuter than others, like you, for instance. I've flirted with her for a long time. It hasn't done me a lot of good, but I'm still working on it.
And both of my daughters live in the States as well.
Oh,
There's a lot of amazing Americans like them, like you. There's good people everywhere we go. We just have to.
her daughters who are a medical doctor and an optometrist, by the
Yeah,
way. So there you go.
there you go. One of the other things that you talk a lot about, one of your famous phrases is, we find only the world we look for.
And that's again so often the case. We wind up in life again saying, why me? Saying, I wish it were better, I wish it were different, I wish that, well, wish all you want. But the only wishes that I mostly do are to the tooth fairy. And I like wishing to her because when you wish to her, the wishes come true. And you wind up with a toothbrush, and you wind up with a group of people who support the tooth fairy and bring her hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of toothbrushes. And I'm giving a plug because this has nothing to do with her economic success, but everything to do with kids all around the world. I can't imagine how many places you've been, how many countries you've been to support the world, to support kids. And again, during this time, this tough time, people who go to food banks because they don't have enough food. Do you have any extra food? There's a food bank, probably not that far away from you. How could you help somebody in a senior center? Now, maybe you're not supposed to go inside it, but what if you were outside it? What if you were just at the door, encouraging some senior who hasn't really had anybody come to visit them, and just tell them hi. Just tell them, hey, how you doing? Tell me about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of experiences you had? If you could speak to somebody else right now, what might you tell them? And there are so many ways to spend parts of our days supporting our brothers and our sisters. And every one of those moments is a moment that we're less disappointed, less depressed, less saddened by our own world. Mm-hmm. And okay, Mitchell, so you have all the magic answers, you have all the stories, you're so smart, you're an American, you think you really know it all. No, I don't know it all. I don't know it all. And some of the stuff that I do know, I've learned from a guy named Joe Sharon from PEI, a guy named Norm Rubin from out west. I've learned stuff from a guy named Kit Grant. He's in Calgary. Some of my best favorite friends don't look south and say, what's the capital of the United States? Even though we need a little help figuring out the capital of Canada. And what if caring made a difference in someone else's life? Why not? You're already in the caring business, most of you who are watching this.
That's right.
So why not?
One of the things I noticed most about you when we met 20 years ago was it didn't matter. It always seemed like there was 10 or 20 people crowded around you, wanting to talk to you, hear your story, have you hear their story. And it didn't matter who was talking to you, Mitchell. You always totally made time for them. You connected with them. And I think what totally made the difference is when somebody is talking to you, you are focused on them and only them. And all that's important to you is making them at that moment feel like the most important person on the planet. And that is how you make them feel. And I know that's true because it's how you have always made me feel. And I know everybody you interact with feels that deep sense of connection when they are with you. A powerful gift that you have. And I often talk with dental teams. I tell them about the story of my first having the opportunity to meet you and watching you interacting with people and how it made them feel. And how could it be like that if we could do that in the dental world with our patients, or if we work in a store or in a restaurant, whatever our business, our line of work is, what if we just took that time to connect like W. Mitchell does?
If you're in the dental field, particularly, there's a guy that I got to know thanks to a couple of friends, and he became well known publicly because of a show called, I think, Home Makeover, or People Makeover, and the dentist is the dentist to the stars. He's a very, very successful dentist in Beverly Hills in Hollywood and works on the top movie stars. And what he said at one of his conferences at which I spoke was the most important person in the dental practice is not me. He was talking about himself. He said, it's my receptionist. It's the person that answers the phone to make appointments. It's the person that first contacts the public. And when I talk to a group, whether it's a massage therapy practice or whether it's somebody at Costco, the most important person is the first contact, is the opportunity that they give someone to know that they're important, that they're welcome, that they matter, that I care that you chose, of all the places to buy stuff, you chose my place. You chose me. And I would like to give you a measure of that kind of appreciation and attention that you give me. And that was pretty sweet. That was pretty magic, because Bill Dorfman is this man's name. And he's superstar. He makes a lot of money. And yet he values the people in his operation who first are in touch with the patient, the client, the customer, the person that's involved. So do other people matter? What if they felt like they did matter? Wow, that's an interesting idea. So again, all of these things we've talked about today are all part of the equation, which says, is this really the end of the world? Is this, there's nothing left, it's impossible, I'll never get a job again, I'll never get my money back, I'll never... Or is it premised on, how can I help you? What can I do for you? What can I give you to make your experience a little bit better? And sure, I'd like to make more money and have a better job and have more patients, but what if you allowed them to feel important first. And it's not some secret, magical, mystical thing. It's just you matter. And perhaps if I can help you understand a little bit better how you matter, maybe you can help me too. Not a selfish thing, not a, oh, I'm not going to be happy if you don't put money in my pocket, but just, hey, how could I make your life a little bit better also? And what if both our lives got better because we cared about each other? Why not? Why not? The quotes on the back of this card, and as you know, there are a number of them. I love the one of ask for what you want. People may say yes. Isn't that a great quote? Isn't that a one? What if you, in life, instead of, oh, well, I sure wish I could have had more money or more of this or more of that. What if you asked somebody, I'm wondering whether you could help me. I'm trying to discover the best way I could create a magical experience for you. Would you share any thoughts you have? Well, I really don't like sitting in that chair, and that needle hurts and this and that. Well, how about if I go to work on that and see what I can do to make that a more satisfying experience for you? And maybe the needle's not the right answer. Maybe that chair could be made more comfortable, and maybe I could listen to you a little more instead of just telling you what I'm going to do. How about?
Right.
Why not?
I think our new normal, what you're saying is our new normal is going to be different than what we've been accustomed to. But I don't think there's going to be there's a lot of uncertainty. There will be a lot of the new normal. As it evolves, it'll be a whole process. 9/11 was terrifying when it happened. And the only real difference today from when 9/11 happened is security at the airport. Other than that, things settled in. We get used to the new normal. And it will settle in again. It'll never be the same as it was, but that doesn't mean it has to be bad. It's different. And to me, Mitchell, you're a pro at making life work, regardless of what you're given.
That's really important. What you just said is really important. And is it better or worse? Or I hear a lot of complaints about the seat space is less, and this is that, and this is that. I fly a lot. I've probably flown 4, 5, 6 million miles. And it's fine. I get in an airplane in Los Angeles, and a few hours later, I'm in Montreal. I'm in Toronto. I'm in one of a million different places in just a few hours. Get in your Volkswagen and drive it sometime and tell me how much fun that is. And they have coffee and beverages and food and stuff. And if you don't like the food, you can get your own food at the airport and bring it with you. Why not? So finding an excuse not to like something, as opposed to saying to yourself, I wonder how I could have an even nicer experience. Bring my own Starbucks or my own muffins or my own whatever it is. Why not? Okay, Mitchell, so this is great. You've been with CoraMarie for a while, and you've been talking to us, and you make it sound as if everything's going to be wonderful. No, I don't know what it's going to be. But I offer you a few tips on how you could make it better. And how you could make it better perhaps for the person sitting near you. And the flight attendant doing their best to take care of you. There's a whole bunch of ways that you could make it better. Bring your favorite book, bring your favorite magazine, bring your video player. There's lots of ways. But if you want to spend all your time looking for the bad, well, there's some bad out there. There's probably going to be bad out there in the future, but there's also a lot of good out there.
A lot of good. I think a big part of your profound success is you never focus on yourself. You always make it about other people, helping them feel special. And when we take our minds off ourselves, we can see all this world of opportunity, and life just gets a whole lot better. We just need to take time to not concentrate on our own small space and make the world not just about us.
And I think about all the people who've made it better for me,
Mm-hmm.
all the people who've taken care of me, the nurses, the doctors, the therapists, a lot of people have been in my corner in these years. And did it hurt? Yeah, sometimes it hurt. Sometimes I didn't want to do that again. All of that's part of life. Life is falling down. And I've had some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people who have come and picked me up when I fell down.
One of the amazing stories you share is about the transfer, and I think it relates really well to the environment we're currently finding ourselves in. Would you share that story?
Well, I had the wonderful experience, an amazing experience. I was paralyzed, as I said, in a plane crash in Colorado, and went to the rehab hospital. And after my back stabilized, my broken back, I used to go out every morning to the gymnasium at the hospital where my physical therapist, Beverly, was waiting for me. And I'm reasonably sure that Beverly had once been a Marine Corps drill instructor. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty positive. Meanest, toughest woman that I've ever loved. And every day Beverly would have a list, had a little clipboard, and on the clipboard a little list, 10 things, impossible things, that she wanted me to learn how to do. Now, I'm not talking about hard things, I'm not talking about challenging things, I'm not talking about difficult things. I'm telling you, impossible things. And one of the things Beverly wanted me to learn how to do was to transfer. In other words, get out of my wheelchair onto the couch, the sofa in the gymnasium. Now that is impossible. And I'm not talking about hard. I'm not talking about challenging. Impossible. You can fall onto the couch. The couch is always lower than the wheelchair. You can fall onto the couch, but when you want to get off the couch back in the wheelchair, you have to lift yourself from the couch into the wheelchair. And of course, when you pressed against the cushion to lift yourself, the cushion gave way. And I wasn't going to do it, and Beverly couldn't make me. And one day she came over to my wheelchair at the end of the day, 10 especially impossible things becoming possible. And she put her arm around my shoulder. She said, Mitchell, there's one more thing. I said, I'm not going to do it, Beverly. You can't make me. It's impossible. She said, Mitchell, have you ever considered there's probably 2 ways you're going to get close to your future mate? One is going to be next to her in bed. One is going to be sitting next to her on the couch. The couch is probably going to come first. 5 minutes. 5 minutes on the couch, off the couch, on the couch, off. I'd be surprised if a bunch of your viewers today hadn't seen me in one of the many Olympics where I won the wheelchair couch transfer event. I always want to know from audiences to whom I speak, what transfer are you putting off? What transfer are you using as an excuse not to do the thing that you say you want to do? How long is it going to be until you choose to get off the couch? We all have them. Everybody has them. I have them. You have them. Everybody has them. But if now is not a good time to at least to think about one or two or three of these transfers that you're waiting to do, when will be a good time. Because one of the beauties of this whole experience that we're undergoing, we have more time. We have time to do stuff that we've been putting off. And life happens, stuff happens. Mitchell, you make it sound so easy. If anything has come into your brain that sounded easy, I don't know anything that's easy. Life is a challenge. Life is bumps. Life is, as I said earlier, potholes. Life is life. What do you want to do about it? When do you want to do something about it? You could wait. You want to wait 10 years, 20 years? Fine, good, wait. Or sit down with a friend, sit down with a colleague, sit down with somebody who matters to you and talk to them. What do you think I could do about this? Do you have any ideas to share with me? Do you think if we work together, you probably have a couple transfers too to work on? Could it be possible that we could work on a couple together? Or is that too hard? Is that, well, it might not work. Congratulations. Gee whiz. When Edison, and I know a lot of your viewers have heard this, but when Edison invented the light bulb, I guess he just went out one morning and said, whoa, I think I'm going to make a light bulb today. I think today's a good day to turn out the dark. So I'm just going to make a light bulb this afternoon. Was it that easy, that simple? Or did he have to try a few times? And did he have to experiment a few times? And did he have to try a few different techniques? Did he have to try some different materials? And so, oh, Mitchell, well, you just, again, you make it sound simple. So all you do is you flip a switch. I don't think so. I don't think the first switch you flipped turned on the light bulb. But today, instead of candles, most of us have light bulbs. Would you like to work on your light bulb? And if you don't figure it out tonight, let's see, what's going to happen after tonight? Let me think. Oh, wait, I have to think about this. Oh, there's tomorrow. Oh, I forgot. I forgot there's tomorrow. You've already achieved amazing things. You've already accomplished a whole bunch in your lives. You've already made other people's lives better and stronger and happier and more complete. You've already done this. And guess what? It wasn't easy. It wasn't a snap of the fingers. But you chose to do it. You taught your babies things that they never would have known without you. And you've supported, in the case of a dental practice, you've supported your team, or in the case of a sales team, or in the case of a delivery firm or a restaurant. You've already done it. And guess what? If you've done that, what's next?
Right. Wow. Amazing, Mitchell. A lot of really good insights for all of us to think about, consider, ponder, and find ways where we can apply it to our own lives. As in our last minutes, I'd love to hear you share a little bit of insights. Tony Robbins has said that you are his inspiration. Where did that come from?
Well, it was amazing to get to know him. He was just really in the very early stages of the amazing contribution he's made to a whole bunch of us. And you were in an earlier stage of the gifts that you've dispensed so freely to a whole bunch of people when I met you. Again, I think you were 7 or something. It was 20 years ago, you told me. Yeah. And so a whole bunch, excuse me, a whole bunch of people have given me gifts I could never measure. And whether they were in the speaking business, whether in the sales business, manufacturing business. I was a mayor in Colorado a long time ago. I ran for Congress. I built a business that made wood-burning stoves. A lot of people in Canada have a Vermont casting stove. And so I've been given a lot of gifts, a lot of lessons, a lot of teachings. And I've been able to put some of those to work in my own life to help me and to share them through my messages, again, as I travel all over the world. So it's a process of learning, of acquiring information, of understanding, of developing some of the things that I've been taught and I've learned. So a lot of people out there, a lot of wonderful insights and thoughts from all around the world. And of course, the gift is, what are you going to do with those lessons? How are you going to share them? How are you going to pass them on? How are you going to help other people gain from some of the experiences that you've had? And it's not that hard to do. And there's a lot of people waiting for some of those lessons. You possess them, pass them on.
Wow.
Share with others.
You are amazing. Every time I hear you, I talk with you, Mitchell, I'm inspired to hopefully become a better person. You just, you have an amazing message, and I really admire all you have done and all the people you have helped and inspired over the years. Are there any other thoughts you want to share with us as significant takeaways?
Well, there's just a lot of truth. There's a lot of truth and a lot of wisdom. There's a lot to read, a lot to study, a lot to observe, whether it's the internet or Netflix or biographies of amazing people.
This book right here.
Well, I happen to like that book. It's a wonderful book. But when you visit wmitchell.com, one word, wmitchell.com, you're going to get a whole lot of hours of videos, all of which are just a gift from me to you, helping you hear some of the messages that have helped me get to where I am in my life. And the next time I'm in Canada and I'm in New Brunswick or wherever I am, let's stop and have a lobster together.
And I'm just going to say, so the audience, our listeners know, two of my favorite things on your website, not my favorites, but I find them really intriguing, is there's an introduction of you by Tony Robbins and an introduction for you made by Bill Clinton. And they're powerful. Yeah, you are quite something. You are a celebrity in your own right.
Oh boy.
Thank you, Mitchell. Thank you for being with us tonight. Today, I think everybody has gained immense value in hearing your thoughts, your ideas, and it's fascinating just to hear how your mind works and how you express yourself. You have such a rich, wonderful voice. So thank you. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. And CoraMarie begged me not to sing "Oh Canada," so I'm not going to sing "Oh Canada" to you tonight. But I will wish you all the very best, and thanks for being our neighbor to the north. And thank you for when things got really tough on 9/11. Thank you for showing up.
And everybody, stay happy, healthy, and safe. Thank you so much, and goodbye.